Hello everyone, welcome to this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. It's great to have you here with me today. We're going to be talking about a lot of severe weather. We've seen some into the northeast, parts of the Ohio Valley, and down into the mid-Mississippi River Valley. We're going to be watching some more severe weather, especially as we head on to the end of the week, beginning of the weekend, and through the end of the month. We're going to be looking at a big day Friday into early Saturday, what could be a very big day for severe weather in this region. We'll also be looking at the tropics very closely here across, especially the northern Caribbean. We could see a couple tropical waves over the next couple weeks with a lot of heavy rain action. Let's get into it. All right, so we're looking at our future radar here. That front that caused all that big gusty winds and strong thunderstorms out of the picture. We're going to be looking, let's switch over to our winter radar here. So if we take a look at precipitation type, yeah, look at this. As we're waking up on essentially, this is Wednesday morning. So a little bit of a slap in the face here, so to speak. But there we go. Cleveland, it looks like you're over to rain showers here towards midnight. But look at these snow belt areas. Would not be surprised to see, especially in these higher elevations, these snow belt areas, southwestern New York to the Adirondacks, Syracuse area, 1 to 3 inches. So watch out. Maybe some snowflakes as far south as Binghamton here. Yeah, lake enhancement, and then all the way up here into parts of northern New England. That'll be a fading memory. We're going to start to turn our attention towards the plains here as we head on into the 17th, Thursday morning at 10 a.m. We're going to start to see this system out here come together in the plains. You can see 2 a.m. on the 18th. This is Friday morning, so this is a little bit beyond where this model can go, but we're going to be watching this area very closely later Friday, Friday night, and early Saturday. So severe thunderstorm action for your Wednesday. It's going to be mainly across eastern Kansas, southeastern Nebraska, and down towards the northwest part of Oklahoma here. Damaging wind, large hail, isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. And for your Thursday, severe weather across Iowa, eastern Nebraska, northern part of Missouri, extreme northwestern part of Illinois here. Watch out because this is really going to get cranking. Tornado threat will be running high to moderate. And here we go just in time for Friday, especially later Friday. I'm very concerned about this area. On the day 4 outlook, central and southern Michigan all the way down to north central part of Texas here. I'm thinking we're looking at a potential tornado outbreak here. As we head on into Saturday, we're watching this sink to the south, Kentucky, all the way through northern part of Texas. And Easter Sunday could be very rough here from northeast Texas all the way to the southern part of Missouri and Illinois. Tornado threat running high. All right, so let's pick up where our future radar left off as we stretch through the end of the week. This is what we're going to be looking at. Shower and thunderstorm action moving through Michigan here, eastern Ohio. We're going to be watching for that prospect as we head on into Friday morning. And look at that. That's going to move into the northeast right up over this ridge of high pressure. This is going to set us up for 8 p.m. on Friday. Look at these areas of shower and thunderstorm action all the way up into the Great Lakes, southward to north central Texas. It's going to be a severe weather day setting up here. And then look at this, 5 a.m. Saturday morning. This is where we get complexes of shower and thunderstorm action bubbling up here, 2 p.m. We could be looking at quite a bit in the way of rain and severe weather, especially across this region right in here as we stretch through Saturday evening here, right around 8 p.m. And look at that. That actually pushes to the north and east here, starting to get into Cleveland around 8 a.m. on Easter morning. So this is a little bit strange that, you know, it looks like Easter was setting up to be mostly sunny here across parts of the northeast. But here it is on our GFS, kind of showing a little bit of the opposite here. I think it'll hold off for the most part. So you should eke out a pretty good day. But there are some scattered showers here across parts of this area. And then we start to get into 8 p.m. on the 20th here on Easter Sunday. So this is a little bit puzzling. We're going to see what the European holds. But here it is, that low pressure moving up towards parts of Cleveland, Buffalo, Pittsburgh here, and extending that cold front southward here. So yeah, it's quite interesting. A lot of you were expecting the latter half of the weekend to be good, but look at this. This low pressure has different plans, at least on this model run, as we watch this low pressure wind up here into the northeast as we stretch next Monday into Tuesday. Now, as we go further out in time, it's kind of a quiet start to next week. Until we get to about the 23rd into the 24th, we do start to see some of these areas come together for shower and thunderstorm action. And look at this, through 8 a.m. on the 24th, you see that system moving to the east. It is running into this area of high pressure to the east, so that severe weather that we were seeing out here will slowly weaken, although we'll still see some heavy rain threat and some strong thunderstorm threat around Tennessee and Kentucky here. That's going to move up towards the northeast and the east coast as we stretch to the 26th and 27th. And you see this very active weather pattern continuing. Strong to severe thunderstorms here across the southern part of the plains. That's going to be moving to the east towards the Appalachians here and the Carolinas, as an area of low pressure tries to form here, but very little success as it kind of stalls off the coast, gets stuck here due to high pressure systems. And then we stretch through May 1st here. You can see through 8 a.m. that low winding up across the Ohio Valley into the northeast with a few showers. All right, so let's just look at Easter quick on the European run here. Yeah, look at this. With a few showers, as we stretch through Saturday night, early Sunday morning, it clears off for a nice day across the interior northeast, even through much of eastern Ohio here. So, yeah, the European's a lot more optimistic than the GFS, a little bit slower moving storm. All right, so the European model comparing to the GFS and picking up where our future radar left off. That system blasting up into the northeast here. That's setting the stage for some stronger thunderstorms throughout the Midwest for your Thursday night and Friday. That kicks to the east. We start to see this area of low pressure, and look at this line of storms all the way from mid-Michigan all the way down to Oklahoma here. So we're going to watch for severe weather outbreak. This is going to be a big day here as we stretch Friday on into Friday night into early Saturday. Look at these storms bubbling up. Squall lines moving through central and eastern Ohio here, all the way back through Missouri and North Texas here. We're watching this moisture stream to the northeast here. You can see, look at this as we head on into Saturday night and Sunday. Major severe weather outbreak here. Tornado threat running very high as we stretch on into the day on Sunday. You see this low blasting up. Only a little bit of wet snow on the backside. You can really see, though, the thunderstorms bubbling up here in north central Ohio as we head to Sunday night into early Monday. This broken line heads to the east here. We get some individual supercells out ahead of it in Pennsylvania and upstate New York as we stretch on into Monday morning, into Monday afternoon, into parts of New England. We'll watch for the severe threat, and that low heads up towards Hudson Bay. Now, this sets the stage for more severe weather as we stretch through April 23rd across the southeast here. Look at this, pinwheeling to the east, and more of a generalized rain getting into parts of the Carolinas as we stretch through Thursday and into Friday. So bringing some beneficial rain here another Friday here into the 25th of April. Look at this big time tropical moisture flowing in from the Gulf. That's going to set the stage for strong to severe thunderstorms again. That races east, but it runs into a brick wall, this high pressure. And look at here into the southern plains as we stretch through the 27th into the 28th. You see severe weather threats running high all the way up into the Ohio Valley and the southern Great Lakes. Heavy rain heading into the northeast. And then as we stretch through Tuesday into Wednesday, you can see these big bubbling showers and thunderstorm threats. Look at these lines just lining up here. Just going to be a major time for severe weather. As we stretch through the last day of the month, look at this, some heavy rain across Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Total liquid equivalent precipitation amounts here on our European model, another 1/4 to a 1/2 inch here up into parts of the eastern Great Lakes and the northeast. Now look at with our system as we get into this weekend. So as we push this towards mainly Saturday up here into parts of the northeast, the Ohio River Valley into the Mississippi, just west of the Mississippi River Valley. Look at that. Some very heavy rain here into the midsection, especially southern Missouri, even a 1/4 to a 1/2, almost upwards of an inch here into parts of Ohio, northwest Pennsylvania. As we stretch through the last full day of the month here, you can see we're really getting into some tremendous moisture all the way through the April 30th here. You can see this area, this is where we're seeing the 4 to 8 inches of rain. Outside of this, we're seeing a generalized 2 to as much as 4 inches through the Ohio Valley, eastern Great Lakes, northern plains, and parts of the southeast. Look at this rain hole across Florida. And looking at the GFS here, yeah, similar amounts we're going to see on into especially Saturday night, really bubbling up here across northwest Ohio, all the way down through the southern plains with that severe weather that we're going to be watching. And look at this as we stretch through May 1st here. Look at this, very similar to the European model. There's the heaviest rain, even some more rain up here into parts of the Great Lakes and the Ohio River Valley. As we take a look at snowfall amounts here across the country, yeah, it's actually not looking like much. Mainly the Rocky Mountains, a little bit up here into parts of northern Wisconsin and Minnesota here. A little bit around, Jamestown, New York, Erie, Pennsylvania, Syracuse, up through the Adirondacks, northern white and green mountains here. But we're not amounting to any more than 1 to 3 inches here on average through the end of the month. As we take a look at the GFS run, yeah, similar picture here. We're not looking at too much snow, even up here into Canada. I'll talk more about this into central Ontario a little bit more, but look at this. Yeah, north of Detroit here, we could see a little bit flare up. That is right around the 22nd. Yeah, so we'll watch out for that, but it doesn't look like more than, say, 2, 3, 4 inches. And then the snow belt areas in northwest Pennsylvania, southwestern New York, Adirondacks, white and green mountains. And let's look at our upper air pattern here. We're going to be looking at trough heading off the east coast, a big ridge just in time for Easter weekend here. Very nice weather conditions will ensue. So yeah, that Firecracker Ridge really sets up here across eastern North America through the end of the month. NAO index also taking a look. Yeah, we're actually going to remain kind of slightly negative here on the NAO index scale. And if we take a look at the MJO index, you can see, yeah, we're hovering right around 6 or 7 here, and the models kind of just bend this and meander this around through these active phases. So expect the weather to remain pretty active here across eastern North America. And before we get into the tropics, don't forget, if you made it this far in the video and you like it, smash that like button, everyone. It really does help. Question or comment down below. I love to read your questions or comments. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe, bell notification button so you're alerted with all my future weather video updates, especially as we head into this all-important hurricane season, which I do have my hurricane outlook. It's coming out very shortly towards the end of this month. Let's continue. All right, so for the tropics here, yeah, we're still watching that area, just right across eastern Cuba, Haiti here, just north of Jamaica. Shower and thunderstorm action continues. This is a curious low for this time of year, and that's going to douse the Dominican Republic as we stretch through 5 p.m. on Wednesday with some very heavy rains. Look at this. Yeah, so it's really going to bog down here and finally start to move out. It just looks, if these sea surface temperatures were a couple degrees warmer, I have a feeling that this would be something more subtropical in nature. But there it is, being entrained up into that front. Now, look at here. We kind of try to dry it out a bit here as we stretch through Friday into Saturday, but very little success. We're seeing that shower and thunderstorm action continue around Dominican Republic, Jamaica here, especially with that diurnal heating. Getting some dry out here in Honduras as we go out in time. Let me just back it up for Honduras. You are dealing with this boundary, what's left in the wake of this system. So you're going to be watching some shower and thunderstorm action the next couple days along the north coast of Honduras. Now look at this as we stretch on into Easter. We start to see a surge of moisture here across the southern Caribbean. That high pressure up here over Bermuda. So this is looking like the middle of summer pattern in particular here. And then on these east-northeasterly trade winds, we're going to bring that moisture back in here. And that's what we're seeing. These daily showers and thunderstorm action. Look at this right around the 21st, moving through St. Lucia here, Guadalupe. These areas, we're going to be looking at some shower and thunderstorm action continuing here. Pretty persistent here on the GFS around St. Lucia and Barbados. Trinidad and Tobago, you're looking pretty dry, but look at this. Shower and thunderstorm action flaring up around Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico through the 22nd. Panama here. Costa Rica just socked in with these areas of low pressure coming off of Jamaica. And look at this area around Dominican Republic. We keep getting these flare-up of showers and thunderstorms, especially the interior part of the Dominican Republic, those higher elevations squeezing out the moisture here. As we stretch through the 24th into the 25th, you can see, look at this. Yeah, a little area around Trinidad Tobago trying to flare up here. This is pretty interesting, and I'll show you this on the European model too, because it kind of shows what looks like a tropical wave trying to progress here across the eastern Caribbean. It's going to bring some shower and thunderstorm action to the north, central, and northern Lesser Antilles. Look at westward here towards Jamaica, though. Even Cancun, these areas, it's looking drier, but much wetter here across the northeast Caribbean as we stretch through the 29th, 30th. And look at these two areas up here northeast of the Caribbean islands. This is something we'll have to watch because this is looking kind of ominous. Thanks to Tropical Tidbits here for our European model analysis. Let's take a look, see what we got going on. As usual, has been the last couple weeks, this is going to be our trouble spot, right through Honduras, all the way through Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Puerto Rico. maybe clipping the southeastern Bahamas here near the Turks and Caicos eastern tip of Cuba. So watch out as we stretch through Wednesday into Thursday. Look at this heavy rain. Yeah, we're going to really start to pick up the rain here. Look at Honduras as well. We're really socked in. And as we stretch through Thursday into Friday here, we're looking towards the 18th. Look at this shower and thunderstorm action. There is that boundary to the north, that front that's kind of just stalled. We got a little boundary here with a little bit of an area of low pressure riding along it too. So watch out. We could get some heavy rain continuing here as we stretch through Friday into Saturday. You get the idea, though. There's definitely some sort of boundary just hanging out here. And it's going to stall for the next several days as we head through Sunday into Monday. You see, it is still the focal point for those shower and thunderstorm action. Now, you do look at here in Cancun, northern tip of the Yucatan. Very, 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 very dry here. And as we get through April's 22nd and the 23rd, it's the same areas getting showers. Now, these are lighter. So that's some interesting news there. This is the latest we've seen in quite a while. So we stretch through the North Central Caribbean, Jamaica, Cayman Islands, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Haiti, these areas. Look at even Honduras is drying out as we head through the 25th into the 26th. Now, I'm going to draw your attention here to this big old mess here across the Eastern Caribbean. This is where we could see a tropical wave start to, take shape. Some sort of area of low pressure. We'll keep an eye on it here through Sunday, April 27th into the 28th, but you really start to see that pick up pace and head more towards Jamaica here as we stretch through the 27th into the 28th. And look at this. We do see an area of low pressure move off the coast of South America, Colombia here, and that is going to bring some torrential rain. You do see this boundary up here around this high pressure system. It's an old front, but look at this. This is just starting to fill in across the southern Caribbean, and it's going to bring some torrential rain as far north as Jamaica, Haiti, little bit of shower activity up here towards the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico as we stretch through the 30th here. Look at this. Wetter times are ahead. Even the Lesser Antilles out here. Season for temperature analysis here. This is what we're looking at, well above average here, although it is moderating. Look at the Gulf, though. That's where things are about 2 to 3 degrees above average. Caribbean, we're lightening it up a little bit, but about around 1 to 1.5. And look at this. The Cape Verde area is starting to warm up a little bit more. If we take a look at the European run here for the Caribbean, you can see what's going to be happening for rainfall over the next couple days, at least. Look at northern coastline of Honduras. I think you should see some areas upwards of 70 to 90 millimeters here. The island of Hispaniola here, Dominican Republic, Jamaica. These are the trouble spots, even a little bit of rain over here towards Puerto Rico. But as we go through all the way through the end of the month, yeah, you can see where the trouble areas are. It's all the way from Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras here. You begin upwards of 90 to 125 millimeters, and then all the way through Jamaica and Dominican Republic, Haiti. That's where you're going to be seeing those rainfall amounts, 80 to 125 millimeters. And heading to the Eastern Caribbean here, this is where we're looking at, the Lesser Antilles looking a little dry here in the central and southern Lesser Antilles down towards Trinidad, Tobago. This is where we're going to be seeing a little bit more rain as we stretch through about the 26th, 27th of the month here. Let's just zoom in a little bit here. You can see what's going to be happening. Jamaica, we're right around 60, 70, 80 millimeters. Portland Parish up here, up towards 100 millimeters. And then look at central parts of Dominican Republic. We're heading up towards 125, 135 millimeters. Puerto Rico, you're looking at about a half to 3/4 of an inch of rain. And then a little bit lesser amounts down here, 50 millimeters or less through the Lesser Antilles. All right, here we go with your Canadian weather forecast. Look at this. We're going to go right over here to southeastern Quebec, northern part of New Brunswick. As we stretch through your Wednesday, look at this. This is a lot of heavy snow. We could be talking about some areas 10 to 20 centimeters. Kind of winds up here through Thursday into Friday. If you take a look at the big picture here, that big low. Heavy snow breaking out across north central part of Ontario here. High pressure building in behind it, though. So this is the only show in town bringing a lot of heavy snow to northern Quebec here. So it's looking pretty interesting. High pressure building in behind it here. You do get some shower action moving through Toronto, and eventually a wave of low pressure heads across the United States here. Wet snow on the back side of it here as we head through the 21st and the 22nd, maybe ending as a period of wet snow from Toronto, Ottawa, up to Montreal here. That heads off out to sea. Looking quieter out here towards British Columbia as well. This heavy snow gets wound up across Saskatchewan, Manitoba. This low pressure moves up towards Hudson Bay here, and we get a few coastal action as well, but look at how far north the rain-snow line starts to move across Quebec and Ontario. We start to get this warm, moist air just flowing north here, and pretty warm for this time of year, so we're going to shut down the snow machine in many areas, but look at this. The northern fringes of some of these systems, we could get some heavy, wet springtime snow here. Here we go. Got that system diving south and east across southern Ontario, Quebec, northern New Brunswick here, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, as we head through May 1st. And some springtime snow out here. Looks like a blizzard trying to form here into southern Alberta and Saskatchewan. And snowfall mountains here for your Canadian weather outlook. Yeah, it's a slow start here. That's some good news, but look at that. It's mainly bottled up here across northern Canada, with the exception here, northern New Brunswick and southeastern Quebec. Some of these areas could be getting upwards close to 20, 25, 30 centimeters in some of these areas. Newfoundland as well. Central Ontario, watch out. A lot of 15 to 20 centimeter amounts. Look at this. The mountains of British Columbia were kind of lightening up here for the most part with snow. All right, so let's take a look at those high temperatures. We're going to be looking at that cooler air here across the lakes and the Northeast. 40s and some 50s pivoting on Wednesday. Lots of 40s in the interior here. We'll feel like a cold day, but look at that. Thursday, we are bubbling up the warmth. 90s all the way into Kansas here. Look at that. 50s up here in the Northeast and 60s here into the Ohio Valley and the Mid-Atlantic. 70s streaming all the way up into parts of the Southeast here as we stretch on into your Friday, April 18th. Look at this surge of warmth. Lower 80s here potentially in southern Ohio, all the way through Virginia. Look at that into Saturday. We push that warmth for Easter weekend way up into the Northeast, upper 60s and lower 70s. Look at this 80s, mid 80s, all the way up into the interior Carolinas here. Into Sunday, we're watching this just moderate a bit. 80s across the Southeast, 70s here in this midsection, and 60s and upper 50s here into parts Northeast. For your Easter Sunday into Monday, it just keeps getting warmer. Look at that, 76 in Pittsburgh, 84 in Atlanta, and look at this, 90s in mid to southern Florida here, and into South Texas. Extended forecast from hometown viewers, making most Grand, Susquehanna, River Valley, New York, and Pennsylvania. We take a look at Wednesday all the way through the weekend here. Yeah, Wednesday was going to be cold, low to mid 40s, west winds gusting upwards of 30 to 35 miles an hour. Chance of scattered snow showers about. Thursday, the sun comes back out mid to upper 50s. And Friday, we'll have a chance of showers mid to high 60s. Saturday, showers likely with that warm front moving in, getting up towards the lower 70s. And look at that for Easter Day. Sunny, beautiful, and 60 degrees. And before we continue with more weather coverage, check out these amazing, awesome maps from my affiliate here. I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning, digital, professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code, MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code. As always, thank you for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. Also, don't forget to join me on Facebook at MeteoMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Twitter at Weather Eastern. Don't forget it's MeteoMark.com, and don't forget, if you want to send me a coffee, there is a link, super thanks. You can smash that super thanks button or my PayPal link in the description down below. You can buy me a cup of coffee. Thanks everyone, share that video, subscribe if you haven't, smash that like button.